And we'll probably just pause throughout. Wait a minute. Did they not do the... Oh, they didn't spoil them at the beginning of the video. The one time where we already know who they are beforehand. I hope they stop showing the units, like in that first section.
To you. You've protected my children ably so far.
Okay, so this will be interesting. I think that C skill looks like the skill that's enabling him to protect Alphonse from the field. But we'll go in order. Loyalist Axe, Special Trigger, Acceleration, if foe initiates combat or if foe's HP greater than 75, inflicts attack defense 6 on foe during combat, and also if foe can make a follow-up attack, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 75%. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. He will not take damage. He's an armored unit, so he's going to be just super duper slow. Everything is going to double him, but he's going to get huge damage reduction. He gets, I don't know, this is kind of a little too stacked in my opinion, because he gets damage reduction in addition to attack defense -6. So, not sure what's going on there. It's a little too stacked if you ask me. He has close defense for Crafty Fighter. I forget what Crafty Fighter does. If unit's HP greater than 25% and foe initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on Pofer. Okay. Right. So it's like Eventual Fighter. Do you think this C skill will be armor only? If I had to guess, probably, but I haven't read it yet, so we'll see if my opinion changes. If a foe uses sword, lance, axe, dragonstone, or beast damage and initiates combat against an ally within 2 spaces of unit, triggers Savior on unit. If unit triggers Savior, grants defense res +4 during combat. This is interesting. Savior, unit takes ally space, enters combat in ally's place, and receives all after combat effects. Savior will not trigger if allies on terrain that unit cannot move to, or if multiple units are able to use Savior during the same combat. If Savior triggers after combat movement effects do not occur. Whoa. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there, but yeah. Surface level, it's just like, dang, you don't have to use like an Omni tank anymore. You can just have like very specialized tanks, like Gustav, for like close defense stuff. Like he literally comes with close defense 4 and all this bullshit. Also, it activates within 2 spaces, which just surprises me because that seems just extremely good. I thought maybe the trade-off was that like you had to be adjacent, because people don't like to leave their support units adjacent to their tanks, but wow, that's an extremely stacked effect. If it's armor only, it would make sense to have higher range. That's actually a good point, yeah, because armors can only move 1 space. Very, very good point. Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. And if he triggers Savior, he gets stats added on. That could be one of the best C skills for, I hope, armors in the game. Yeah. Damn. DR near save. I'm curious. DR, so I guess DR is just because he gets defense and res. Weird. Also, near implies that there might be like a far save. I guess that's what Henriette has. A lot to unpack there.
Know the strength of Asker!
Imagine this on Brave Edelgard. No, stop. Hold on. How does this work for Pawns of Loki? Why is that my first thought? On any ally within 2 space, or on an ally within 2 spaces of unit, trigger Savior on unit. Dude, you could just have like a pimped out Gustav or any armored unit in like your back row in Pawns of Loki, and they would just tank. That's insane. You can leave like ranged units on your front line and it won't matter, because when they get attacked, Gustav just comes in.
I'm Alphonse and Sharena's mother. Please, call me Henriette.
Okay, hold on. So she's also an armored unit. Okay. She has Distant Defense 4 to contrast with Gustav. She has an inheritable tome. What is she? She's a red tome armor. Unity blooms. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack res -5 on foe during combat. And when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores 4 HP to unit. Okay. Good effect. And you figure if you're trying to activate Far Save, then you're going to be within 2 spaces of an ally regardless. Slick Fighter. Yeah, that's the good one. Slick Fighter is the one that neutralizes penalties. So there you go. Was it Gotri that had that before? Yeah, I think it was just Gotri. Either Gotri or Deginsia. I don't remember. AR Far Save, so it's bow, dagger, magic, or staff, initiates combat against an ally within 2 spaces, and she gets attack res. Yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect. I'm looking at the skill icon here, so it does have an armored unit on it, which once again implies that this might be armored only. I just find it amusing. The icon makes it look like it's like an armored unit, like hiding behind like bushes or something. I actually don't know what this is supposed to be. Like an armored unit hiding behind bushes, waiting for its chance to like swoop in. Well, damn.
I am holding back.
Our 4-star focus.
This festival brought my mother and father together. Nothing could make me happier.
Oof. Definitely RD mode. Defense res form is neat. 4-star Bold Fighter is a good point. For the first time ever, we get Bold Fighter on a 4-star focus. So there we go, finally. I'm genuinely surprised we haven't gotten it on like a Grail unit yet. Bold Fighter is on everything. Just nothing that isn't 5-star exclusive, apparently. Is it just me, or do the borders on these skills don't look like as gold as usual? Is that like a weird observation to make? Also, the C skill boosts attack and res, so that means we are going to see that kind of C skill. Yeah, I guess we'll probably see it for all sorts of combinations of stats, and also combinations of near and far, right? Very interesting. I mean, I guess for Gustav, like the optimal one would be, it would be A, D, near save. Yeah, because that would grant him attack and defense. And then for Henriette, attack and res is pretty much perfect. Unless you want to do defense res. Defense res far save. That's a whole lot of hoopla, Chief. Oh, Amity blooms. So this is our 4-star focus, and he's on green. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack res -5 on foe during combat, and when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores 4 HP to unit. If I luck sack a 4-star Alphonse with my free summons, I might give that to Brave Micaiah. This could be the optimal tome for Pawns of Loki. She gets HP back. But then again, she wants the armor effective damage.
Understand me
so.
now?
Can I just say, I was really hoping the music would like suddenly switch to the book 4 music. Or book 3, the book 3 music.
Strange, isn't it?
It certainly is.
I'm most interested in Fatal Smoke. Foe cannot recover HP during or after combat, and after combat inflicts a new effect called Deep Wounds on target and foe within 2 spaces. Deep Wounds. Unit's HP cannot be healed through its next action. That's new and interesting, huh? That's really interesting. Most importantly, it disables specials that heal you, like Soul and Ether. That's actually pretty debilitating against tanks that like rely on Soul and Mystic Boost. Yeah, not to mention Renewal. Any skills that grant healing, like passively over time, like Renewal or Falchion, they all get disabled. Unit's HP cannot be healed through its next action. Wow. That's a pretty brutal effect, honestly. Is he red? He's red Tome Cavalry, which means this banner has 2 red units and 2 green units. It's just kind of interesting. I love how their weapons are always, like, hard to pronounce. Pajalfi. Grants attack +3. If the unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants blah +6 to unit during combat. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. And reduces the percentage of foes reduced damage by X% skills by 50%. But after combat, if unit attacked, deals 20% to nearest ally. Example, a foe with a reduced damage by 45% skill would reduce damage by 23% instead. Man, we're back to having really convoluted weapon descriptions. Peony, like Duo Peony just had like grants attack +6 to allies in cardinal directions, and then Harmonic Dorothea had like chill everything. We were doing great. And then Lif comes in here with frickin' reduces percent damage reduction skills by this percent. When I was reading it, I thought it was pretty clear that this is what it meant, but it's probably good that it clarified. I feel like at that rate it would just might be better to say reduce damage by X% skills by half. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Damn, this is like a very anti-meta banner and skills. Disabling damage reduction, especially since he's red, it hurts Bravike, it hurts units that are getting supported by Flame. Lif is a counter to Summer Mia? I don't know. That's actually a good point. So yeah, this doesn't clarify, like this doesn't say it has to be player phase or enemy phase. So yeah, if Mia initiates combat on Lif, then half of her damage reduction gets taken away, which is interesting. My idea initially was thinking about it more like in the context of Lif being the one attacking, but yeah, it's still a good point. He's slow, but he gets auto doubles, so who cares? Grants blah +6 to unit, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. We also have a duo skill to look at. Deals damage to foes within 3 spaces equal 10 plus 50% of total damage dealt to HP of allies within 3 spaces. Max damage 40, inflicts attack speed -7 on foes within 3 spaces of unit through their next actions. Okay. So yeah, it takes all of the damage taken by allies within 3 spaces, adds it up, cuts it in half, and that gets added to this AoE damage. Also attack speed -7, because fuck you. My first impression is that this is the most stacked duo unit we've gotten. I don't know.
Take it.
We insist.
Duo Lin does have Gale Force, which is a big deal. And Dominance on Micaiah is also really good, but...
For me? You can do this.
This too is my duty.
I like how they're still really, like, depressed and brooding. Even though it's a seasonal banner. Okay, well, there we go. And we already know our Tempest Trials unit is Veronica. Getting that free blue tome is actually pretty cool, because we assume it will be like Alphonse's. That's a pretty good inheritable tome, honestly. Splash damage is better than Halloween Hector's splash damage? Arguably, yeah. I think Hector does like 20 damage, or 30 damage, right? But in fairness to Hector, this is like... Hector's skill is like just 3 columns all the way across the screen. Lif's is a little more limited because it's like enemies within 3 spaces. Yeah. I would actually say like their duo skill is like not the nutty part. It's everything else. Because with the duo skill you had to like be close to them to activate it. Whereas with all these fucking skills, all they have to do is be within 3 spaces of an ally to get everything +6, auto doubles, and damage reduction negation. I wonder if this is the new meta. like they've done so many things to try to counter damage reduction. Like we had like Deadeye and Twin Blades and Altina, like all these little things to counter damage reduction. Now they're just like, alright, fuck it. We're just gonna print skills that reduce damage reduction by some percentage. How long until we get like an inheritable skill that does that? I don't know. Well, damn. Pretty nutty banner. Alphonse with Bold Fighter is pretty cool, but I can't lie, he's a little underwhelming compared to these new C skills and Lif and Thrasir. Everything is on red or green, which is kind of interesting. Kind of makes it, I don't know, does that make it hard to choose what to pull for on your free summons? I think red is the way, unless you want a higher chance of getting Alphonse on 4-star focus. Do we know if this banner is going to have the 4% special rate? I think like the next Hero Fest is supposed to have it. I don't remember if they clarified if this banner has it or not. Hopefully it does. That would be neat. Personally, I'm not going to go in on this banner. I actually might have if it weren't for Legendary Micaiah potentially looming on the horizon. Just because I think Lif and Thrasir are cool and also very busted. Yeah, AR defense teams that have these two are going to be extremely hard to kill. It's 3% like normal seasonal banners. Right, but I'm thinking of the 4-star special rate that they're adding to new banners. I think the idea is that it's supposed to get added to all banners, maybe starting with the next Hero Fest, but I don't know. They never said that like the 4% special rate was exclusive to new hero banners or special hero banners, so I think the assumption right now is that it applies to all banners, which is really cool, if that's true. And I think we get 5 summon tickets for this, right? So that's pretty cool. If you use your 5 tickets on red or green, I mean, or 6 summons overall, you know, we don't have a horrible shot at getting one of these. Yeah. The implications for Pawns of Loki are huge, in my opinion. Because, like, all you need is, like, one person on your friends list who swiped $1,000 so they could get their +10 Gustav, and now you have, like, an insanely good unit. Does he have high HP? He does. Look at that. They printed him literally for Pawns of Loki. This is their experiment to see if they can sell a unit mostly on, like, viability in Pawns of Loki. That's my suspicion. I wonder what the counterplay will be to this on AR defense. With special 4-star rate, there's no need for weekly banners. Debatable. Because with the special 4-star rate, like, I don't know, your odds of getting like a specific unit that you want are very low. It's still way better than nothing. Like, I think people are kind of down on it because your chances of getting the unit you want are really low, but I still think it's really good. It's a really good change. It's just that they're not really a replacement for the 4% weekly banners. I'm interested in seeing if they continue doing the 4% weekly banners. I think right now they're scheduled to go until the end of February. If they renew them for another cycle, that means that, of course, my first thought is that means the 4% Micaiah banner will be back in like March or like maybe early April. What is going to be the counterplay to this on AR defense? Oh, you know what actually? If Fatal Smoke works like Panic Smoke, where it doesn't activate if they die, that might just make it okay. So if you don't know, the way Panic Smoke works is that it doesn't activate if you kill the attacker. So yeah, like Thrasir won't activate Panic Smoke if you kill her. So if this works the same way, then it's actually not that threatening. In that case, like, you'd want to build your AR defense Lif and Thrasir so that they survive that initiation against whichever tank, whether it be Altina or Hector or Bravike. Which is kind of tricky because they don't have any way to negate follow-ups against them. They also, yeah, I don't know, they don't have damage reduction themselves. So it's kind of interesting. Lull attack will help, defense push will help. I don't know. I feel like they're kind of built to be like a WOM beacon, maybe, because they get in there, they take damage because they get doubled probably, but then they survive, they take this 5 damage, and you can WOM beacon, and the opponent's in bad shape because they got hit by this. I am not looking forward to fighting Lif and Thrasir on AR defense. AR defense became really degenerate recently. I don't know if y'all have been hanging out in heaven recently, but it really sucks. There's like this one team template with Veronica and Duo Peony that people have been using, and it's just awful. People are just copying the template, and you run into it like multiple times in one season. So there's that, and now there's this. This is my penance for using Summer Mia on AR defense. Well, yeah, I actually had a lot to say about this banner. There's a lot going on here. The implications are big, not to mention for Omni tanks, you can just support them with someone like Gustav, and suddenly they no longer have to worry about, you know, being a close range tank. Like if you have like a distance tank, like Norn or Micaiah or whatever, or Brunya is a really popular one. You can just support her with Gustav and you're set. The only inconvenience is that you have to make sure he's within 2 spaces, which might be hard because he can only move 1 space. If a foe uses blah, yeah, so like the opponent can use this too, which is really annoying for people that, you know, AR offense teams that try to do hit and run. Like, imagine you're trying to do that, but the unit they leave out for you to hit has like Gustav hitting, like sitting behind him, or like Henriette. Suddenly it becomes very hard to kill them. A lot of potential here for very degenerate ARD setups. Curious to see if people will swipe for it or not. Henriette sidebar also has really good skill fighters. Like fighter is like the best fighter skill, debatably, and then distant fighter, or distant defense 4 is also really good. Yeah, she has a bunch of good skills. Alright, that's it. Sorry I rambled. Oh yeah, so if you watched on Twitch, there's only 2 of you, so thanks. If you watched on YouTube, subscribe so you can see the next reaction. Go follow on Twitch so you can maybe join us for the next live reaction. And that's it. So have a good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out.